All right, thanks for coming, guys. Technology Drop-In Thursday. Today is February the 11th, and it's cold out, as we all know. So for anyone that happens to look at this archive like a year from now, it's like minus 32 and the wind chill's minus 40, 41. So people did actually used to live through that stuff, for those of you that are looking back at our archives. I got some fun stuff today we're going to look at. There's some, and Microsoft's actually in the middle of some changes, and they're not showing up on my screen quite yet. So hopefully next week they'll be finished it, but it'll be kind of fun to see these new reactions and stuff that they've got coming. So again, just going to share my whole, I think I'm sharing my whole screen. Let me just double check. Let me try it again. I get it all set up to click on the screen I want, and then Microsoft redraws. So what I'm clicking on suddenly shifts to the left, and then I end up sharing what I don't want to share. All right, so you should be able to see all of this right now. So in Microsoft Teams, when you've got a live chat going, just like we have right now, I can actually go in under these three dots, and we can see all these different meeting options. So with the meeting options, what ends up happening here is we can see some new things that are showing up. So allow attendees to unmute themselves. So you can turn that on and off. Before they could unmute themselves anytime. Now you can turn that ability off, and allow reactions. So this is the part that it doesn't look like it's completely rolled out yet, but instead of just doing your hand, you can do the smiley face, thumbs up, and all that stuff. So I know that's like in the process of rolling out. Apparently my version of this just got stuck in the middle of it where the switch is there, but there should be a new icon showing up here soon that'll allow you to do that. These same controls you can set ahead of time. So if you are in your calendar events, let me switch to my calendar for a sec real quick. Ahead of time, there is the link, whether it's in your calendar or Outlook or here, but there's a link down at the bottom here. Come on, meeting options, that you can also do, and that allows you to set it up ahead of time. So I mean, whether you go into the meeting and set it up or set it up ahead of time this way, I don't think it really matters, but that's where you can go and turn on those chat functions as well. The calendar also has some new functionality. It has a Meet Now link. So before you'd had to schedule a meeting with the calendar, or else just schedule a meeting or video call. This is basically saying, I'm going to start a meeting up. It's just like we have our regular meeting. And then what I can do with it is I will have this link here that allows me to copy it and just send it out to anyone. So if I just decide, hey, we're all on the phone, I want to make sure we do a video call, I can go click on that and start a meeting just like you see kind of going on here. And then as well, there's the links and stuff to go through. So if you're, doing something with the family and you want to get everybody together or something like that, that's an easy way to start in a quick meeting. I know for some cases, I was looking at it, and I used to use Google a lot. I'm actually going to start moving over to Teams. I really like the way Teams have come along and done stuff. So if I don't need to screen share and stuff like that, a Meet Now is like, like doing Facebook or FaceTime. I can just call you and just say, hey, let's get this meeting going. Google Chrome added a great feature in there, and I suggest you run this whether it's on your personal account or your McEwen account. But under the three dots, we're going to go into settings. They've added in there a security checkup. So they call it a safety check. Let me zoom in a bit. Safety check. And what that's going to do is it's going to check out, are you running the latest version of Chrome? Do you have any passwords that have been compromised? So they've worked with, I think it's, has your password been pwned or something like that, where they can go and find out if your password's been used a lot or been used with some of these security compromised websites. Do you have safe browsing turned on, and what extensions do you have? So for example, I used to use an extension called, it has escaped me, but just recently, Google said, hey, you know what? We found out that someone has bought this, and now they're inputting malware into it. So part of that safety check identified that for me, and they pulled that extension out. So that's kind of a nice thing that you can run anytime you want. As far as Google Chrome goes, this isn't as big of a deal as it is on a Chromebook. But if you ever want to upgrade and make sure your Chrome is running the most recent, which usually the operating system's pretty good about it. But if you go under About Chrome, it'll actually come up here, and there's my updates. So it's going to check for an update. If I need to, it'll say update your version of Chrome. Just click on that, and that'll go through the update process, and that'll apply to all your profiles because, of course, you're using Google Chrome throughout. But that'll make sure that you get all the new features and whatever the securities that they've added in will all get attached to that. Normally, it's done on a regular basis, whatever that happens to be. But if you want to push it and make sure that it's up to date, go ahead and do that. But that safety check will also go through and look at that and make sure that that's set up for you. So every once in a while, when you in your settings, you see that safety check, just click on it. It's a good thing to do. Mac users, for Webex, there's a new Outlook plugin coming that is now available. This is the plugin that before that you would go and use in Outlook on the desktop. It would allow you to, so if I had Outlook, if I want to put a Webex meeting in there, this is a new plugin. The way Apple has added some different security features to the Mac, they're going to get rid of the old way we used to do it. So highly recommend that you go ahead and install that. There's the link there. Not a big deal. Hopefully it should be pushed out automatically through McEwen. But if you just want to be on the safe side like me, I just go in and update it. Does the same thing. You know, I put in my meeting in Outlook, and then I just say I want to enter a Webex meeting link. Does all that stuff as well. So nothing different has changed there. In the Webex application, they now have a hold spacebar to temporary unmute. So with some of these apps, they expect you to go in and you can go in and just hit the tab bar or something like that. But if you just want to be off the whole time and only talk when you've got the key pushed down, that's what this will do. So that's kind of a neat feature. So it's not an on-off switch. It's a kind of like a walkie-talkie. When you click the button, that's when you're on. Same thing here. There's also a new feature to lower all hands. I'm not going to demonstrate those ones because they're right there in front of your screen as an operator, so it's pretty easy to see there. But what I do want to tell you or talk to you guys about is how to create templates in Webex. So I do a lot of training, as everyone knows, and when I go and schedule my training sessions using Webex, I go through this whole process of, you know, not so much the topics, but things like how long is it going to be? Is it going to be 1 hour, 2 hours, 90 minutes? Am I going to have a co-host in there? Am I going to have a registration page? Will I have breakout rooms? So you have to go through and set that up every time. But you can actually go through and set up whatever your requirements are. And at the very bottom here is a link that says Save as Template. So I actually, when I create my stuff, instead of rinse and repeating this all over and having to remember, did I do this, did I do that? I actually have created these different templates. So for just a basic registration page, I will select this. I just still have to put in my topic, and then I still have to put in the time it starts, but it's 1 hour duration. But everything else is already set up. So when we take a look at here, the guests can join. There's requiring the attendee registration. And where's breakout rooms? Breakout rooms is not turned on. Okay, great. But you know, sometimes I do want a breakout room. So I'm going to do a 60-minute breakout room here. Actually, let's switch it to 90 so you can see the difference. So there's the duration, 1 hour and 90 minutes. Everything is pretty much the same, except that now I have the breakout sessions set up. So you can do this for whatever sessions you're doing all the time that you're constantly making the same setup, and just save that as a template and it gets saved into your Webex. This should also appear once you've set it up into, I believe, into your Outlook calendar. So when I go and insert that Webex meeting in my Outlook calendar, I do have a choice of saying, is it going to be whatever templates I've created in here as well? So I saw that yesterday when I was testing it on my Mac. Not sure if the Windows will do that. I assume it would, but all those templates should show up there as well. How cool is that? That is pretty much all I've got for today. Oh, except for I put my hand up. Any questions? I'm just going to look in the chat here, see if there's anything. Does anyone have any questions they want to ask? Okay, don't go away. I'm going to stop the chat here for a sec, or stop the recording.